luxury, only on See Indonesia. Woo-hoo!
See Indonesia.
Jakarta. With a population of 10.6 million in the special capital region and a GDP of 2,000 trillion rupiah, you'd expect Jakarta to be all skylines and corporations. Surely you'd think there'd be no kind of tropical island getaways anywhere around here. Would you? The Thousand Islands would beg to differ. Okay, technically this isn't in Jakarta proper, but it's still a regency, so kinda counts. Consisting of a string of 342 islands, 23 of which are privately owned, the Thousand Islands is our little corner of tropical paradise. And of those 23 islands, wouldn't it be nice to feel like you own one? The idea of having your own private island sounds absolutely excellent. But the market is quite small and it's a little bit expensive. Lucky for you, Oba Resort has a solution. Oba's mission is to provide the private island experience without the capital required to actually buy a private island and the bureaucratic red tape associated with it. Oba is located on a 5-hectare island in an archipelago 1.5 hours north of Jakarta known as Pulau Seribu. Of those 5 hectares, 1 hectare will be accessible for you to romp and relax in for however long you choose to stay, completely isolated from other people. Luckily, you won't be completely alone to fend for yourself, as Oba staff will be on call 24 hours a day to provide you with every need. The price of this luxury experience starts at 500,000 rupiah per guest for a day trip, 15 million rupiah per night on weekdays, and 35 million rupiah for an entire weekend stay from Friday to Sunday. Meanwhile, daily meals and afternoon snacks will cost 200,000 per guest. These packages do not include transport to the island. Luckily, many boats are available from the shores of Jakarta, with prices starting from 4 million rupiah for a round trip. And if you have your own boat or yacht, Oba will be happy to provide both. You also get access to your own private beach, a dining hall, and 3 bungalows with 9 rooms in total. This is the first of 2 bungalows that I'm going to show you today. This one is called Rumah Payung, or umbrella house in English. Let's take a look inside. As you can see, there are many wooden accents, and with this earthy palette, you can tell immediately what it's about. This is for the type of people who want to be immersed in nature. But immersed in nature and yet still be able to experience the luxury of living on a private island. And so those luxuries continue to exist in places in here, such as this TV that has a built-in set of many movies. This very comfortable sofa right here. Look at these decorations, that's extremely nice. And very importantly, this AC as well. Every single room in this resort is AC, air conditioned. Let's take a look in the bathroom, shall we? You step into the bathroom and the first thing you notice about the bathroom is this beautiful skylight just above this overhead shower. Now this overhead shower features some very, very, very warm water, so you still get that luxurious experience of being here. But it is made even better by this skylight up here. It is absolutely beautiful. You can see all the trees that are outside and you feel truly immersed in nature. I also really love these rotten decorations here. They are just absolutely beautiful and they really add to the value of this bungalow. And finally, and most importantly, we have this beautiful and comfortable king-size bed. Perfect, I'd say, for any couple who wants to stay. Oh. Now for those of you who have kids, or if you're going in big groups, or if you're going with your big family, luckily Oba has this as well, Rumah Palem, or Palm House. This bungalow features 4 different rooms. Of those 4 rooms, we have 2 twin rooms and 2 king rooms. Now if you see in every single one of these rooms, they have 3 of the same things. They have shelves, they have places where you can store your suitcase, they also have these places where you can hang your towel, and most importantly, every single one of these rooms have ensuite bathrooms. As you can see, this bungalow also follows the theme of being immersed in nature. And luckily, if you have an even bigger group or an even bigger family, there's another bungalow that's very similar to this one, named Rumah Penyu, or Turtle House. In total, this resort can hold about 24 people in total as a maximum, but most likely the biggest group is about 18. And finally, we have the dining hall, with enough for 18 people to dine in. Now first of all, this dining hall has just been recently refurbished with, most importantly, a karaoke machine. Ooh. They also have some games over here, seats for 18, 3 sofas, and most importantly, a coffee station. After a quick cup of coffee and now pumped with caffeine and energy, I wanted to see what we can do outside.
See the beauty? Only on See Indonesia.
Now, I'm not the sportiest person in the world, but luckily, Oba Resort owner Ilyasa was more than happy to guide me, starting with safety equipment. All of this is provided by Oba, and I was able to choose from a line of the latest fashion collection. Now, there were many options to choose from my weapon of choice above water, from tandem canoes to several solo ones to even stand-up paddleboards. But I was a bit of a rookie, so I wanted to take the safe option and use a canoe. Finally, we left, and we were only out of the cove for a few minutes, but immediately the waves began to get choppy. So, I got tipped over quite a few times. Eventually, I had to succumb to the waves, so I returned to the boat. So as it turns out, the water's over there where the near where the island is actually a little bit choppy, but luckily just across from Genteng Kecil, which means that the waters here should be a little bit calmer and much easier to use the canoe with. So, and there's a sandbank right over there as well, as you can see. I think that'd be a really nice place to visit. I think you can take some really nice photos there. So let's see what we can do with the canoe. As expected, the waves were much calmer in this area. So we reached the sandbank with absolutely no problems. Even better, Ilyasa surprised us by providing chairs and an umbrella for when we arrived. How very nice of him. So, we took a little bit of time to relax in the sun and enjoy the scenery. And my, oh my, what a scenery it was. It truly felt like I was in a movie, a tropical paradise all to myself. And the best part is, this sandbank changes with the tide, meaning every visit provides a unique opportunity to enjoy time in your little corner of the world. And this corner of tropical paradise became even more special when we dove underwater. Inside, we found Coral Reef. This beautiful, organic city was home to hundreds, if not thousands of fish. And if you stayed still for long enough, they would become curious and pay you a visit.
See Indonesia.
Eventually, having done so much physical activities in the water, we became exhausted. So, we returned to the island. After a short while, the exhaustion turned into hunger. And luckily, if we do get hungry at Oba, we have our own personal chef here, Mr. Marhaban. And right now for us, he's cooking grilled white snapper. Flame grilled. As you can see, there's charcoal down there and it just smells absolutely amazing. Now, why does it smell amazing? It's because it's basted in butter, in onions, in soy sauce, and in cooking oil, and it is just spread all over the fish. Now, alongside the fish, we have steamed rice, which I'll take right now. We have some stir-fried vegetables. In this case, my favorite, bean sprouts. Many of them in here. Delicious. Alongside that, we also have some calamari here. Very nice. And some tofu as well. Take that by hand. And some of the Oba signature chili. Now, this smells absolutely delicious. I can't wait to try it. And of course, the pièce de résistance, the white snapper. Pak, boleh minta apa? Ya. Oke, makasih ya Pak. That's it. The special thing about the food at Oba Resort is that every single ingredient that they use is locally sourced, including the fish, which is locally caught, fresh, as well as the spices, the tofu, the calamari, the rice. Every little thing is locally sourced, all bought from Pulau Kelapa, or Coconut Island in English. Only a short boat ride away and sourced exactly this morning. Very, very fresh. Wow. That's really, really good. Their signature samba is mind-blowingly delicious. I wish you could try it yourself. I was massively enjoying my lunch at Oba, but to me, this feast was even more spectacular in that its taste was of such high quality, especially the sambal, which tasted much more pungent compared to the other ones I've tried before. Was this the true hidden secret of the Thousand Islands? An archipelago full of unique tasting spices? I really had to ask. So you mentioned during lunch earlier that all of your ingredients were also locally sourced. Can you mention the motivation behind that?
Yeah, of course. I think not only we find our staff, our people here from Pulau Seribu, but we also try to source everything locally, not just because of freshness, but I think we're trying to give out a message to the local community as well, that we're not just here as profit incentive, but it's more towards trying to, I'd say, involve the community as a whole, collectively. That, yeah, the staff and then the ingredients, everything is one big ecosystem, and Oba is just a part of it, and everything needs to work together. So that's why we also source everything locally. So not just the staff here, but in terms of, you want to talk about like the fishermen, in terms of the fishery, yes, we buy everything locally, so they get benefited as well.
In fact, Ilyasa explained that the impact of Oba and other resorts around the area does not only come from them buying ingredients locally, but by hiring locals as well. What is the experience of the people, the community of Thousand Islands? What impact did this resort have on them?
I think in terms of impact, it's quite huge. We're not talking about absolute numbers here, because when you look into Kepulauan Seribu itself, you can't really compare it to Bali or Labuan Bajo. But when we look at this within this area itself, I think the impact is huge to these people, because I think the main source of income is still fishery. But when you have new industries, new sectors, in this case is the tourism, growing, then you will also open up new job opportunities for people, right? And I think that's what is best right now to have, to give people new avenues to explore, not just in one sector, but multiple sector. And in this case, I think within tourism, it can still grow. And then, yeah, they would also be having more opportunities to have different kind of jobs within the tourism industry.
Having a chat with Ilyasa and spending time with him while visiting the island itself turned out to be such a massive revelation for me personally. I visited the island expecting nothing more than a luxury experience, but what I found instead was something much more profound. What I found was a work of art, originating from a single person's idea to turn a private asset into an ode to Indonesia, its natural beauty, its delicious spices, and its truly, truly wonderful people. I could have stayed here for an entire lifetime, but sadly, the afternoon began to turn to dusk, and so it was time to return to the mainland. You know, now that I'm back in Jakarta, it almost feels absolutely surreal to think that there's just a little corner of paradise, an hour and a half north of here. I mean, technically it's still in the province of Jakarta, just in a different regency, but just considering the beauty and the excitement of being there, it doesn't feel like Jakarta at all, and yet it is. But now I'm back on the mainland, you know, back to reality, back to the reality of working in Jakarta. But it does feel good to know that there is just a little tiny island of paradise only offshore. And thank you again to Oba and for Ilyasa for inviting us to their island. We hope to see you guys again.